Welcome, everybody. It's been a while to another episode of the Pipeline Podcast. I'm your host, Kevin, and I am here with Camrin, my co-host. Yeah, he's happy to be here, of course, as well. Indeed. We got to see quite a few movies during our hiatus, I guess you could say.
Yeah, it's been a minute. We've been streaming.
We've been kind of streaming.
Streaming
now and
more
then.
than... Yeah. Oh, my God.
We're back, and we got two movies for you guys today. One is a little older.
That might be the cinnamon one. Be careful.
No, it's not.
No? Okay, you're
Strawberry.
good. Okay, cool.
Yeah. We watched two movies. One not as new, but the other one we saw came out, 2 days ago?
2 days ago, yeah.
Yeah. So, we're going to be talking about Uncharted first, because that's what we saw first.
Yeah.
Uncharted, and that's a video game movie. Figure we could talk about that.
Yeah. The whole other thing, too, is we're not going to go break down the movie like we normally do.
No,
We're going to just go over the main part.
This is just thoughts.
Yeah.
Thoughts on it. Have you played any of the Uncharted games?
I have. I've played a lot. I played a little bit of 1, all of 2, and a bit of 3. So I have a pretty good range on the Uncharted games. And we got Blueberry Mead, which is delicious.
Blueberry Mead is the tits, dude.
But yeah,
now, did it follow any specific story?
So for the first game, not really, but of course it's a movie. You're gonna take a different aspect. People aren't gonna go watch the exact same thing that they've already previewed once before.
People won't watch anything different either.
Yeah.
Look at the Assassin's Creed movie.
Yeah. Well, the problem with the Assassin's Creed movie was the fact that most of it was in a different language.
Yeah.
So that was kind of rough.
And the Animus was...
Yeah.
Was it, what's it called?
The Animus that they used was more like a
bad.
VR system than it was an actual lay-down table thing.
It was like augmented reality.
Yeah, it was weird.
It was weird.
Anyway, but yeah, I severely enjoyed Uncharted. I liked it a lot. Tom Holland did an excellent job with Damian Drake's character. I know
Mark Wahlberg?
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg isn't a very favorited actor. I know a lot of people don't like his personality, but he did a really good job as Sullivan.
Sullivan?
Yeah, Sully. Yeah, he did a really good job as Sully, and the action parts of it was amazing. You get to actually see just how much gymnastics and stuff Tom Holland actually knows. Because he had explained even this compared to the Spider-Man movies, a lot of his Spider-Man stuff were CGI kind of actions because he's in a suit. But he was saying with this one was a lot different and a lot more actual physical stunts, and you see him really shine through on it, and he does a really good job.
Yeah. So besides those two, did you like any of the other actors?
Besides,
did any of them stand out to you? Like the villain, that third lady that they came across?
Not really.
Nothing really was outstanding in your eyes.
No,
the acting.
Yeah, no. Honestly, one of my favorite parts of the movie though is when the Irish guy comes up to Tom Holland, Damien, and he's all, "You're about to get the Irish welcome," and Tom's like,
"You're about to get a good old Scottish welcome."
Yeah.
I have no idea what you just said.
And then when they meet a second time, he says the same thing, and Tom Holland's like, "Still no idea."
This movie had some funny parts. There's a lot of Tom Holland-esque humor, I guess you could say.
Yeah, he did a really good job.
At this point, when an actor, I've noticed when an actor...
When was Bryan Cranston in this movie?
Bryan Cranston was in this movie?
Yes! He's in the cast. Yeah,
what?
No, right there. Bryan Cranston in the cast. If you Google...
When?
I don't know.
I didn't see him.
I didn't see him.
I didn't see shit with Bryan Cranston. My man from Breaking Bad.
When was he in there? Hold on. I gotta do research then.
It's basically
Uncharted?
the movie though. While he's looking at this, is Nathan Drake is a artifact collector, much like Indiana Jones and Lara Croft and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But he's also in this film a really good bartender. So he's got a lot of charm and bartending skills, and he ends up pickpocketing a lot of his clientele, I guess, because they're drunk. They don't care, and he's a very sleight of hand. He's very smooth, very jazzy guy. And he comes across this guy who keeps an eye on him, which is played by Mark Wahlberg.
No,
His name's Victor Sullivan.
He just got his name kind of slapped on there because people thought he would have made the perfect Victor Sullivan.
Gotcha.
So his name was just kind of he wasn't in the movie.
Okay.
His name because of Google searches and people wanting him.
I don't think it would have been better with Bryan Cranston.
No,
as Sullivan. Mark Wahlberg did a decent job.
Mark Wahlberg had a really good, solid attitude.
Yeah.
As Sully.
Yeah. Well, like they come into contact because, he was keeping his eye on Nathan Drake.
Yeah.
I guess for a long time, and it's because because
Sully worked with his brother. Yeah,
his brother worked with him, and so Nathan's whole mission, I guess, in life, his purpose is to go out, find his brother again, and then find this crazy treasure.
The whatever hidden treasure. It's some I think it's an actual historical treasure thing too. I don't remember exactly what it is. They get into the history about it pretty well, but
it was a treasure by Magellan,
something like that. Yeah.
Magellan.
Yeah, that's what it is. Magellan.
Yeah, Ferdinand Magellan. It was his lost treasure, a 500-year-old boat. That's what Nathan Drake and his brother, when they were children, talked about all the time. That was their thing. So, Mark Wahlberg finds this guy, and they kind of just go on this adventure, all Uncharted style, obviously, because it's the name of the movie. But it is good. It's not great. It's not like I didn't leave this movie thinking I gotta see it again. You know what I'm saying?
I would buy the movie and sit and watch it with my family. Yeah. It's buyable. It's a decent movie. It's really good.
Yeah, especially if you're a Tom Holland fan.
Yeah, and the fact of where we've hit with video game movies recently, it's top notch. It did a really good job for being a video game based movie.
What about the action scenes? Because
I love the action
movie
scenes.
Starts out how the trailer started out, which I thought was really weird. I don't know. Yeah. That's a little pet peeve of mine. When movies start or end, their trailers started or ended.
Yeah.
Amazing Spider-Man 2. That movie ended the exact same way the trailer ended, with Spider-Man and Rhino going at it and him swirling that manhole cover at him.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how it ended, but that's this movie starts how the trailer starts with Tom Holland waking up in the midst of falling out of a plane.
Yeah.
That scene was cool.
Yeah, it was really good.
That one was really good. I thought it was a well done scene, well done choreography and chemistry.
Yeah. Between
characters. I thought they did a lot of interesting shots and camera angles with this movie. Not too many to make me go that's good. But
actually, come to think about it, backing up real quick that you're bringing this up, the video games actually did that too.
Did what?
We'll start halfway.
Really?
And then they cut back to the beginning. Yeah, that's how Uncharted 3 starts. Uncharted 3 starts you parkouring up a broken train that had just crashed on the side of the cliff. Then once you hit a certain spot, then it's X amount of days or years or whatever, and then it backs up.
That's really neat. I didn't even know that.
So come to think, that completely I spaced that. That's how a lot of the games start too.
That's really neat.
Yeah,
that's really neat. I thought Tom Holland did a really good job in this movie acting wise. Obviously he did a good job. He's a good actor.
Yeah.
I thought Mark Wahlberg was good. I would say be wary, Uncharted fans. If you're going into this thinking it's game accurate.
It's not really. It's to the degree of accurate of the characters play that character pretty well.
Exactly.
Tom Holland's attitude as Damian Drake matches Damian's pretty well. Same with Sully, and then the chick, I can't remember her name.
Barbosa.
Barbosa.
Barbosa. I think that's her name. Bardock.
Bardock.
That's her name.
Bardock.
Bardock. How dare she? There was a couple scenes in this movie where I'm all right, it's a T-rated game series. I get that. It's not supposed to be gory or anything.
Yeah.
But there were scenes in this movie where they kill people on screen, and it brings me out of it because there's no blood. Somebody just got stabbed, somebody just got shot.
Well, not just that, but there's a whole big death.
Spoilers?
Yeah.
Are we going into spoilers?
Yeah, we're gonna smack a spoiler warning on here right now.
All right, but what would you rate the movie for those who are?
Oh, yeah, I would give the movie a solid 8.
An 8?
An 8 out of 10.
I think you're being generous, but I'll accept that. I'll give it a 6.
Yeah, I liked it. I enjoyed it.
6 out of 10.
But so spoilers from here on about the movie. Of course, since we have a second movie, we won't talk too much about it. But one of the scenes Kevin's talking about is one of the main villains who's played by, I can't remember the actor's name, but he plays the dad in the Spy Kids movies.
Yeah, Antonio Banderas.
Antonio Banderas, yeah. So he's like one of the main villains throughout the most of the movie, and there's a scene where he gets his throat slit, but no blood comes out or anything. He just kind of like...
Yeah, I thought it was funny because like it shows like the red line for his neck to be slit. But that's all it does. Like, it doesn't get any redder than that. It just stays this red line across his neck, and like I turn to you in like the movie theater and like shoot out blood like with my hands, just making like a spurt.
Yeah.
Like motion with my hands. I'm like, where's the blood? Where's the gore? It should be fucking...
Yeah,
but
so
it is a rated T game series.
Yeah, so that I think that's what I told you too. I think I told you like afterwards. Yeah, well, the games are rated T, like so.
Yep.
But like, even then, like that's probably the only scene that would have been like, oh, there should have been blood there, because most of the shoot scenes, like, of course, in shooting, if someone gets shot, it's only a little bit of blood that comes out, even if it's fatal, unless, you put a hole in somebody.
This movie is predictable as well.
Yeah,
it's something that, like, you can see from miles away. Like, when there's this scene where they recruit this chick that Mark Wahlberg's known, right? And, like, gone on with missions, and he's like,
Barda.
she has the other... It's Goku.
It's Goku.
But she has the other piece to this...
To a key.
Key?
Yeah.
They were like two crosses?
Yeah, it's two crosses that can be put together to make a key, but they're also their own keys.
Yeah. So they have to team up with her, and at first she just steals it. I thought that was great. I thought that whole scene of like her meeting up with
and the parkour scene and all that, them doing the chase.
Chasing her because she took it while she got close to Nathan. That was a cool, like, there are fun scenes and very action-filled scenes in this movie to where it's like, oh, I could get behind this. This is very entertaining. But then there are a lot of times where this movie just slows way down. Yeah. Like, almost pushes, like, the brakes fully to the metal, like, pedal to the metal, in, like, the sense of, like, the pacing just stops at points. And, like,
they'll have a lot
start back up after, like, 5 minutes of a scene.
Yeah, they'll have a lot of action and there'll a lot of pausing where it's the characters, which, granted, when it's a treasure hunting movie, so I kind of like this aspect of, like, them sitting there and puzzle solving. Like, I like that, but, like,
that's National Treasure, baby.
Yeah, for what... The difference between, like, what National Treasure did and what they did is in Uncharted, when they would sit down and do their puzzle solving, they had time to actually sit there and think about it, because nobody was really after them in that moment, and they were in a safe zone. When in National Treasure, he's constantly moving, and he has to figure it out.
Going on.
Yeah, he has to constantly figure out the puzzle in his head while being,
what did you think of the
stressed.
Ending to this?
The ending was nice. I didn't hate it.
I kinda thought it was bullshit how nobody got any treasure except, like, a little bit that they found. I'm like, you guys just, like...
Well, like, what I liked about it was it did, which I believe it kind of happened in the first game, too. It gave Sully a moment to actually become a likable character, because throughout the entire movie, you're like, wow, this guy's a jackass. Yeah. But not only that, but the best part about it is like, even when they didn't get the treasure in the end, and Sully chooses to save Nathan. Chooses to save Nathan Drake over the treasure... it was a big moment. Made people, like, it's funny, too. It's a big moment, like, oh, wow, he's, becoming a better person, thinking of another person's life besides his own greed. And then, like, the end trailer scene happens, and his brother's still alive when Sully's been telling him the entire time, oh, yeah, no, your brother got shot and died, but he's actually in jail, still alive, writing him letters and shit. So it's, like... that respect that you gain from him immediately
throws out the window.
Yeah, just like gets diminished. But it makes me want to see the second one because, like, now you're like, oh wow, that respect I just gained for this character has just been thrown out the window. Yeah. But now I want to know what's going to happen to him.
I will definitely watch a sequel to it. This is now the new National Treasure. Like it gets. I'm sure there's a lot of people who think the same. Now this fills my National treasure
hunting needs or whatever. Yeah, which it's good. It's really cool.
It's good for the family.
Yeah,
it's good. It's good for adults as well as kids. But all in all, it's predictable. That like it's something that like you won't really think about for months. Like,
Yeah.
this is a movie that will stick with you. It's a movie that'll like, that was good. I'll see the second one, but then you just like kind of write it off.
I'd slap a big ol' watch again on it. Like,
yeah.
I'd watch it again.
I'd watch it again over some beers.
Yeah. You got to drink first.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, moving on from that one, now we can start the newer movie. But like you said, so collective score of like 14.
Yeah.
Collective score of 14. Me 8, you a 6.
Yeah, out of 20.
Yeah.
14 out of 20.
14 out of 20, baby.
But there wasn't really a lot to talk about with that movie, which is why we can't do like a full podcast on it, because there's not enough for us to just.
Yeah, well, same with like this next movie, because it's pretty predictable, especially if you know who. Like,
man.
like we could say here, like, so
you read the title of the video, you know what we're gonna be talking about here.
But yeah, so the other movie we're here to discuss, we just watched today, Morbius.
Morbius.
Like I said, but after the movie when we were walking out, I expected it to kind of turn out the way it did because it was made by the same people who made Venom.
Yeah.
Like, you know, anti-hero bullshit when it's supposed to be a hero.
This bad?
Well, so like I expected it to be kind of like the way it played out, but I did not expect them to just like shit on their CGI budget.
Dude, why showcase in the trailers such bad looking CGI? Like from the trailers, this movie was kind of like.
Well, like the funny part about the trailers is with the CGI scenes that they show in the trailer. Show it. Yeah, they barely show it, and after watching the movie, I kind of see why.
Yeah, it's not something to showcase. They tried doing like a 300 style thing with the action scenes as well.
Yeah,
of like, you know, it'd be all fast paced and then slow down to a slow motion.
Yeah,
like characters doing their thing, and then it'd go back into fast paced. And I'm like, oh, 300 is a rip from that movie. All right.
Yeah, like the I think the biggest like kind of fuck you in this movie is they do not know how echolocation works whatsoever.
Not at all. They
it was more like sonar than it was echolocation.
Their interpretation of echolocation is literally like feeling vibrations that the like.
Well, no.
Not like he fucking like.
Yeah.
He could fly from the fucking world to like
sound waves. Yeah. Well, no, like the way they described echolocation on this, they described it right. That's how echolocation works.
Yeah.
But the way they did it was really dumb because Mobius would be standing on top of a building and he can hear his girlfriend on the other side of the city saying his name, and it's like, that's not how that works.
You just turned into Superman.
Yeah, you can't just like pinpoint exactly what you want to listen to with echolocation. If a rock gets
thrown, you know what's around the rock.
Yeah,
you know where the rock is.
Yeah, that's when they first showed it, when he was first using it and he threw the ball and he caught it. Yeah, when he threw the ball and he caught it, I was like, wow, yeah, that's it. That's how it works. Because that's how echolocation would work. It's because you can use the sound waves and figure out where objects are in the room. But no, then they go and do it Superman style where like, oh, I can hear the heartbeat of that lady that's clear across the city and pinpoint directly her. And it's like, no.
We're getting ahead of ourselves, though.
Yeah.
So let's start from the beginning. This movie is about... I forget his first name.
Michael.
Michael Morbius.
Yeah, Michael Morbius.
He's a scientist that has a debilitating muscular disorder.
No, it's like blood. Cells? It's like blood clots. Like it's like some kind of. They don't ever say what it is.
Yeah, no.
But
I
it's
was
like
wondering. I was like, I watched this whole movie and not like once do I think I've heard.
Yeah, but the way they kind of explain it without explaining it is he has like some kind of blood clot disease that affects his muscle growth and stuff like that. So it's really hard for him to walk and stuff like that. And he constantly has to get blood infusions.
Yeah, because there are cells missing from his body that keep deteriorating.
Yeah, and they keep deteriorating and keeps clotting. So they basically have to flush him out and put him in with new blood. And that's what keeps him alive. So the whole premise of it is like Mobius as a kid was a really smart guy. Became really good friends with another kid that had the same disease. Anyway, they both grow up. Mobius becomes a doctor
who makes artificial blood. That's really cool.
That's really cool.
I thought that was a really cool
idea. Yeah,
idea that they added in was him to actually like win a Nobel Prize for transfusion like perfection.
Yeah, blood. And you know, like the whole beginning of this movie was like set up very well. up until everything happens. Anyway, so they do he does the whole blood thing, and and his best friend somehow becomes a rich bastard. Like, it never explains how he got so much money or what he did.
Like, part of he says he can get hitman at some point.
Yeah,
well, so I'm wondering, is he like part of a mob? Or part of a gang?
You have no idea. Like,
it's not explained. This movie doesn't care enough to give you the information that you need to to enthrall yourself in the story.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous now that I'm really thinking about how they never say the disease he has.
Yeah.
Like,
they never say the disease they had.
Never say
and
his
they never explain how his friend got uber rich.
Yeah.
They never explain how his friend got to New York with him.
Okay, we're not going to get this. They don't explain a lot.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot. And the inconsistencies to this movie as well, like shot for shot, you'll see characters talking to each other in one shot, and then it cuts to the next shot of a camera at a different angle with them, but the characters won't be in the same place, or their heads will be turned at a different angle in the next shot. I'm like, you guys this is amateur hour right now, and I'm not even a filmmaker, you know, but I know these things, I know what to look for, and once you notice these inconsistencies, it's hard to miss, because they're
and granted, it was made by the same studio as Venom.
Venom was more consistent than this movie.
Yeah, well, Venom was more consistent because they went in with more money. After the whole Carnage incident, I'm sure that they dropped a lot.
And they're going to drop a lot more after this, because this is bombing in theaters right now.
Yeah, and Morbius, it takes place in the universe of Venom.
Yeah.
And, so that's why I kind of, figured that it would play out this way. One thing that Kevin had pointed out when we were walking out of the movie, which is an obvious that's stupid, but Venom's whole anti-hero thing is the fact that Spider-Man wasn't a part of Eddie's life. So Eddie and Venom, since Spider-Man wasn't a thing, they didn't have a mutual hatred for Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That's what made them kind of bad,
Villains,
was because they wanted to kill Spider-Man and or, just make him suffer. And Morbius didn't need Spider-Man to be a bad guy.
No.
Spider-Man wasn't a reason for him to be bad.
Yeah.
And granted, the way that this movie's going, Morbius can still technically be a bad guy. But they just made him full blown anti-hero. I don't want to kill anybody. Again, it scares me.
Again,
yeah.
I don't know what Sony has in their heads about trying to make these villains of comic book heroes into anti-heroes, to make them all oh, they're not bad guys necessarily. They're just stuck with a bad hand. And
it's misunderstood people.
It's I don't care. They're doing bad things. I want to see them stopped. Or if you're gonna give me a movie about it, if somebody announces oh, there's gonna be a Venom movie, or a Morbius movie, or a Morbius movie, you better fucking you expect me to want to see your movie when you just glorify the villain that I came to watch do his thing.
Yeah.
And turn him into a hero, and not the film just be absent of the thing I came here to watch, which is have fun with it a little bit. You have rights to villains. You are making movies about supervillains. Where's the passion? Where's the fun? This movie, along with the Venom series, really has no passion behind him. And I think that's the driving factor as to why these are fucking up so bad.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is because take some pride in your work, man. You own these supervillain licenses. You know how much potential you have? You have the potential to make the darkest version of the Marvel Cinematic Universe ever. And you know what? People wouldn't even be fully on the villain's side. They would just want to see the villain do their thing and see why they're so threatening. Make them known. And
the hardest part about this too is sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
Hardest part about this too is I feel the reason why it's going such a downhill spiral on it too, it is not directed and created by the same people that did the Spider-Man movies or the other Marvel movies. It's created by the people that own the rights to Spider-Man, Sony's movie making. I don't know what it is called.
They give the licenses off to
Colonial, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Colonial?
Columbia,
that's what it is. Columbia. Yeah, and so, and then the director does not have the same passion that Sammy does in the movies he does.
Yeah.
It's
just there's no heart.
No, there isn't.
It's just hey, we have the rights to this character.
Since Spider-Man is such a big hit, let's do this.
Let's throw him out there and give him an origin story. and not put any of the any of the passion that went behind the creation to any of the other comic books or like to the creation of these villains. They're just like, nah, Spider-Man did well. These'll do well. People know Morbius. People know Venom. And to be fair, I didn't even know completely about Morbius. I knew of him.
Yeah.
But I have not, like, sat down and read any I don't even know if there are straight comics about Morbius.
And even if there is, I can get the whole, like, origin story of maybe Morbius is what he is now. What made this movie bad was the lack of explanation and the fact of, like, there is no consequence for what this villain is doing.
They try to make it seem like there is, right? But there's not.
No, there's absolutely not.
There's not a consequence. Like, there's no driving passion behind these films. There's no artistic direction. Like, not once did I realize, like, that's a cool transition or that's a cool way the camera's moving.
Yeah.
No, dude, in the very first scene, the pacing in this movie fucked. Yeah. I cannot tell you how many times I was, like, jarred because it would go from a scene with intense action to just another day. Yeah. And I'm like, what was that choice for? Yeah. Like, in the very beginning, he cuts his hand open in this jungle, and he puts it to, like, this waterfall? I guess.
A cave. It was a cave.
He puts it to a cave full of bats. Yeah. And, like,
which is understandable. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, they're stupid for doing that.
Like all these bats come flooding out. I was like, oh, this is a strong start. Yeah. Like, this is actually a pretty decent start to the movie. This looks cool. Because, you know, like, I don't know. You see blood. You see the blood drip from his hand. I was like, okay, so they're not going full PG-13 only a red line. They're going to show a little blood. I was like, okay, that's a good start. That's a better start than what I had planned out. And then it, like, fades to black. And then it has, like, a circle, like, Looney Tunes style in credits, like, thing. Like, show the
pan out in the same movie,
like, it pans into the environment, but it starts with, like, a Looney Tunes style black circle of the city. And it expands to show the city. I'm like, wow. That was really why did you use that? Because that just took me out of the whole scene. Why did you cut the scene to his origin story to show me his childhood? Why not just start out there? Yeah. You know, like, that's what I mean by the pacing is wrong. Like, you cannot give me a 3 to 5 minute opening of how he got his power and then cut to him being a kid. Yeah. That's just a waste of time. Yeah. You don't waste my time, especially, like, if it's a movie that I didn't necessarily have high hopes for to begin with, you know? But they fucked it. They fucked every aspect of this movie up.
Yeah. And like, the worst part about this too is, like, the movie, the story could have been, like, thinking about how the story went and how it's explained, yada yada, it could have been a really good movie if just written correctly and, like, everything played out. Because if you would explain, like, main points and leading up to the ending, you could be like, okay, that sounds interesting. But it's everything that builds up to it, the lack of explanation, the shitty movie scenes, the crappy CGI. I thought the story, like, if you would explain, like, from the, like, think of it this way, a little bit of spoilers, but not too crazy. Like, story being a guy that's super smart, has the disease and his best friend, and so he dedicates his life to find a cure, finds a way to transmute bat DNA to help him with his disease, and it accidentally turns him into a vampire. And he's fighting the evil side of his vampire to stay in control. That's what I'm saying.
Keep it at
it's such an interesting, like, how they do it.
But it's because it's a simple thing. Instead of doing that one simple thing, in this movie, they instead try to overlap it with, like, 3 other stories. Yeah. As if the first story of him fighting with himself on trying to stay human isn't interesting enough for the audience. We're not fucking ADHD children here. Yeah. You know, we're not trying to look for the next plot to move on to. Stick with one. Like, have enough confidence to stick with a plot to keep us going. That's an interesting plot, but the fact that they added on more and more to this plot to try to either pad out the movie or they thought it was cool. I honestly can't figure out which one of the two it was.
It's because the movie started really strong. Like it had me pretty like gripped in there. Of course, the beginning scene you're talking about, it's kind of like, okay, whatever. 25 years in the future, or in the past, they really need to know about that. But like it gripped you pretty good because you were really like kind of feeling for the characters, and you're like, wow, this is fascinating. And when he finally discovers how to cure himself, and then what it actually did to his body, and him experimenting on himself.
That was cool.
Yeah, that was all interesting.
Him slaughtering
all
these people on a boat.
Yeah, when he first turns.
It turned into a horror movie.
Yeah.
And I kind of dug it. I was like, okay, if this is the entire movie, I don't know what people are complaining about.
Yeah.
Because that would be so badass to have a supervillain movie instead of just like a horror movie.
Yeah.
Like, not only would it have probably blown the audience's mind, because first off, they wouldn't expect that from a superhero film or a supervillain film, but you could have had a way easier time just sticking with that.
Yeah.
And you could have done better with the special effects because the story was simpler.
I feel like
less time with shooting other scenes.
I feel like what they should have done is, hear me out on this one. You know how the beginning of Tokyo Ghoul went? With like the Kaneki really not wanting to eat because he was human and he wants to stay human. I feel like if Morbius would have taken that aspect like a little like to that point, to where like maybe the scene where his friend finds him locked up inside of that cell he puts himself in, and he writes that he needs blood from the freezer or whatnot, and his friend goes into the freezer and pulls the artificial blood out and gives it to him. I feel like in that scene, if he would have grabbed all that and then went in and opened the door and went to hand Morbius the blood, instead of Morbius just accepting the blood right away and drinking it, if he would have attacked his friend and like you see him fight himself not to eat his friend, doing his best like to prevent himself,
it would have given the story way more depth.
Yeah, it's because it would have scarred the friend. It would have made him realize just how like messed up this situation is at this moment. Not only that, but it would also give character depth because you see just how hard this man is fighting not to do this.
And it would bring stakes to the movie. And I think that's the biggest thing other than passion that this lacks is
there's no stakes. There's no stakes.
There's nothing. There's not even a wooden stakes, and it's a vampire movie.
Yeah,
I want some kind of. If you're not gonna give me like dramatic stakes, give me some fucking wooden stakes.
Give me some wooden stakes.
Because I want to kill this movie so hard, man. Like this, I'm gonna get into spoiler territory now.
Okay, this is smack the spoiler warning.
And what would you rate it? Get that out of the way for the non-spoiler listeners.
I'd say like a 5. You know, I'll hit the middle ground because there are some things I liked about it. Not only that, but I went in expecting it to kind of play out the way it did. So, like, I'm not...
I'll give it a 3.
Yeah, I'm not like completely disappointed with it, but I am upset that they didn't put more passion into it.
I'm giving it a 3, and I'm being so mean because Sony, you didn't learn your damn lesson.
With Carnage.
Now, I'm not one to call people fucking stupid until they fuck up, and then they continue to fuck up in the same way. And Sony, you have just blown me away with how fucking much you didn't learn that lesson from the Venom movies, especially with the second Venom movie. What were you thinking?
Yeah.
What were they thinking with this? From like the way
like
they
I said,
handled it?
Like I said, I feel like if the whoever like created and wrote the movie, like going in there with the pitch and the idea sounds great. The pitch and the way the movie starts sounds amazing. The rest of the writing and directing, no, it's just straight
because
garbage.
They fuck it up because they want to bring the love interest into it. So they got to have her whole thing. They want to make his friend this jealous snob.
Which the love interest was so fucking forced.
It was forced. It came out of nowhere.
It really did.
Like they only had like 2 dialogue sequences where you're like, oh, so they have kind of a relationship.
Yeah.
But that's it.
Yeah.
And then they just full on love each other in like
for no reason. No reason.
And not only that, but they decided to turn his best friend. They're like, they turn him into a Harry Osborn from the Amazing Spider-Man 2. Like, why won't you give me the blood? I need the blood from Spider-Man. Why won't you give me the blood? That's what they did with the character of Michael's friend.
Yeah, Michael's best friend, the rich one.
He was like, why won't you give me the serum? Why won't you do this? Why? Like, dude, you literally found him, like,
about to die
from starvation, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean, why won't you get... What? Like, I get that you want to walk, dude, but, like, there's a cost, and I thought that Michael was, like, he was being a little too vague on why.
Yeah.
At the moment, because, like, I hate when people do that. They're like, you just don't understand.
Yeah, like,
it turns me into a monk. They should have just sat down and talked about it.
Yeah, he's your fucking best friend, dude. Sit down and, like,
he's
apparently...
been waiting his whole life for this.
Yeah. Like, sit down and talk to him. Tell him what's going on. Tell him that, like, your research that you have. Michael, in that moment, knew if he went 6 hours without the artificial blood, he would start craving and wanting to turn.
Dude, not only that, but, like, if they genuinely, like, gave a fuck about this movie, they could have just had him be like, listen, man, I will find another cure.
Yeah.
Like, I will work to stagnate this.
Not only that, but Morbius being as intelligent and smart he is, you would think he put the fucking serum down on the table. You would think he would have turned around in that moment and saw that it was gone. No, they were both gone.
Oh, yeah,
he took both gone. Yeah, he took both of them. You would think that he would fucking turn around and be like, both my serums are gone. Why the fuck are my serums gone? Oh, who was just in my office? Haha, my best friend that I just fought with over this. It never fucking crosses his mind.
I just denied my best friend.
Yeah.
Oh, he left. Where are my serums?
It never crosses his mind.
He doesn't
never
look at him again.
Yeah, no.
He doesn't even look at him. He's like, screw it. Like, it doesn't matter. The serum didn't work. I don't need it.
Yeah, it's so fucking dumb. No.
Like, that's the dumbest scientific mindset I've ever heard of.
Especially with him being as smart and, like, intelligent and observant that he is up until that point. Like, what the fuck?
So his friend becomes super fucking jealous. He's like, I hate the woman that you've been spending time doing research with. I don't know why they decided to add that to his character, but it really was never shown up until the point where he was like, oh, I'm jealous of everything he has.
Yeah.
And it's like, what?
Why does it matter?
Well, what do you mean? And like, okay, second of all, they also try to add, like, now he just wants to fucking kill him? Like they've been best friends for years, and they're like, yeah, but there's no talking it out. There's just like, oh, I'm mad at you. You just made the same mistake of, like, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and just had to have him be mad at him for, like, little to no reason. Like, I'm sorry, but if I wanted to live, and I'm going through a debilitating disease, and my best friend who has the same one took it, and says that, like, it's honestly not safe. I'm not gonna just inject myself with this serum, especially because how the hell did he know which one it was? He never told him what liquid it was. He never
didn't even tell him that was the serum. Like, no. You just took, like, a high fucking guess. Oh, that must be it because it's sitting on the table. It's
sitting right in front of him.
Yeah, well, there's a whole bunch of other vials and shit sitting on the table.
Yeah, he just decides to pick out that one. Like I said, nothing's explained. No, you're not shown, like, when he took it. You're not shown, like, subtle hints of him just, like, grabbing it or...
You see Morbius exploring his powers one time, and the only power...
And then he masters it.
Yeah, so, well, like, even, like, we could get past the whole mastering thing. Like, who gives a fuck on that? But, like, the thing is he explains how his powers work in a certain moment because he increased strength, yada yada, increased agility, which he shows in his lab, echolocation, which he shows, which at that point was correct the way he was displaying it.
Yep.
And then later in the movie, he just, like...
He's fighting with his best friend.
Yeah, later in the movie, he just knows all this other shit, and, like, echolocation works, like fucking wind? I guess.
No, echolocation, they were basically saying, like, the sound waves, he could glide along the sound waves of something.
Yeah.
To gain the momentum of it. So, like, wind at a high building top, he could, like, glide along the wind. Yeah, because it makes sound.
And he never talks about it, explains how.
No, it doesn't. And it doesn't even really get into how much blood he needs to fucking get into. It talks about, like, the amount of artificial blood that he needs.
Yeah.
But never about how much real blood he needs. Like, I was wondering the whole time, like, you're telling us, like, how long artificial blood is, but, like, how long does regular blood last?
When he has regular blood and still times himself for artificial blood.
It seems like it doesn't
it's the same.
Yeah, it doesn't even change the time.
Yeah.
So it just seems like it's taking him over. It doesn't seem like he needs, like, real blood. It just seems like it's taking over.
Not only that, but it seems like if he has real blood, he's able to turn on his vampirism and still, like move around. Yeah, it's so weird.
Like, the way that the confrontation happens between him and his best friend, and like him finding out, oh, he stole the serum, is ridiculous. Yeah. Because he's in prison for murder, and he's like in his jail cell, and they're like, your lawyer's here, and they open the door, and his best friend like stumbles in. This is after they had the big fight about everything, and
I just realized too, his friend could have taken the serum when he was imprisoned, because technically they never show him after.
They never show him. Yeah, they don't show anything.
Yeah, they never show him when he took the serum. So granted, I guess the reason why Morbius never noticed it was gone because he could have done it when Morbius was in jail. But still, like, you don't figure that out till later, and then like it never crosses Mobius's mind that he might have both of them.
Yeah, like the only reason he finds out is because he left his cane.
Yeah.
That he walked in with to showboat how he's still fucking crippled. He left his cane in his cell. Yeah. And just walked out.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking like no guard would have just seen that, been like,
that guy walked in here limping. Why is he walking out
where's the cane?
When everybody there knows that Mobius is there,
or a security guard wouldn't look into a room after a guest leaves,
right? Yeah,
as if like, oh, duh, I trust them completely. No, he like lets him out and then just turns around. No, there's blood. There's a bag of blood sitting on the fucking bed right next to him. Do your job. There's a cane in the room. Do your job. No wonder Carnage killed a fucking entire prison. You guys suck at what you do.
Dumbasses.
Seriously, dude, what the hell? What the hell were they thinking with this?
It's so...
I don't think they were.
No, it's... Like I said, I feel like the concept was there. They did really good at building up, and then when the big shit started happening, they just kind of threw it all out the window.
Yeah, they really did. I didn't like how this movie ended either.
Like, it's so...
He
kills his friend.
Like his best friend like ends up fucking fingering his chick's throat. What I mean by that, he
ejects her with the other serum.
Yeah, he fucking ejects her, and then no, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
No, he didn't.
Yeah,
no, he didn't.
Yes, he did.
I thought he just like pressed his thumb like with his nail through her fucking throat.
Nope.
I thought that's what he did because that's what the silhouette showed.
I know, but that's not it.
I thought, okay, because like he gets there, sees her corpse, and then
he knew. The explanation of this movie is fucking terrible. But no, what had happened was, when the only reason why I know this happened in particular, it's because of the very ending. But the scene where Mobius is on top of her, talking to her, and he's we gotta get you to the hospital, you're gonna be fine, and she goes, no, it's too late, and then they kiss, and then she like
bites his
lip and eats some of his blood. And then she tells him, don't let mine go to waste. And then he just sucks all of her blood, supposedly killing her, to go fight his friend. And then after killing his friend, she wakes up as a vampire. That's the only reason why I know he ejected her with the serum. That's it. That's the only reason. It's because, like, he had both vials. Yeah, she did.
To get his blood.
No.
Drink it and transfuse her blood with his.
No, that's not how blood works.
That's what I was thinking, that they thought that's how blood works.
No.
So I'm like, why the fuck is this happening?
Yeah.
This is stupid.
No, I feel like the friend had turned her as well to kind of like get back at Mobius.
Morbius dick.
Yeah, they kind of. I think he like purposely turned her to get back at him.
Yeah.
It's because like, let's be 100% honest. If he was the complete asshole he was up until that point, he would have just sucked her dry because he did not give two shits about her.
Yeah.
I think he purposely went to try to turn her to make Morbius be like, oh god, everybody I care about is now a monster. I guess I have to accept what I am now. Because that was like the whole point of what his friend was trying to do.
Yeah.
To make him accept that now he's a monster and just to live with it. And
that's such a stupid fucking
it's such a stupid thing.
It's such a fucking forced
The only reason why I feel like I know that, it's because the guy kills his fucking dad, basically his dad, and sucks all of his blood out to where he's barely alive for Morbius to find him about to die, drained of blood.
Dude, these fucking people who made this movie are like, what? Like, they did not know like how blood loss worked.
No.
Like they're like, let's every character that like is important to the film, let's like act like they're dead and give them just like that one like 10 seconds of life left.
Yeah.
Just so Michael could see him and be like, and like they have that little like touching scene.
Yeah.
But like the second like she bit his lip and like sucked his blood, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, no way.
Yeah.
They're gonna do this, aren't they? They fucking turned her into him.
Yeah.
Turned her into him.
Yeah.
But
and see, that's the whole other thing too. Is like,
that's what I mean.
There's no explanation up to that point that where like if she was dying from like a stab wound in her neck or whatever, that doing that would save her life. There is no like Morbius nearly gets gutted and almost dies from it. Like I feel like they have the durability of a human.
Yeah.
To like a degree.
Yeah, use a bullet.
Yeah.
You know? Like he's dodging bullets like they'll hurt, so yeah. So I mean like what I was saying earlier that this movie just stacks too much on top of its one plot that it really needed to get by.
Yeah.
And like what I mean by that is I'll get more into it because now we're in spoilers. This movie has the Michael, the Michael plot, Morbius plot, where he's like dealing with himself. They get the friend. They get a whole plot with him, a B plot with him and what he's doing. They get a whole C plot with what the chick's doing.
Yeah.
They get a whole D plot with what the fucking police are doing.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the movie, they try to coat this little fucking shit pile with a brown bow by going, oh, now she's a fucking vampire too.
And guess what? Vulture is in their universe
and Vulture
now.
just somehow pop in their universe.
Yeah.
What? Why?
Yeah.
Why? What in God's name are you thinking?
What's happening?
Are we gonna get a I hope to God we don't get a Vulture movie now.
Oh my.
Because they will.
They don't need one. They did so good with Vulture in Homecoming. Like they don't need a plot for Vulture.
Stop while you're ahead, man. Stop making movies. This is like the Sony's that guy at the party that is talking.
Sony
so much
needs
shit.
to literally just hand all the story writing to Disney. Be like, hey, here's all of the Spider-Man stuff. Make things with it. They're not going to. They're sharing Spider-Man's name, and that's what it is. Yeah, they want the money.
And they're fucking up everybody who was like, oh, Venom 2 was like average. See, because like people had hope for movies after that. They were like,
and see, the only reason why I say Venom 2 was average, it's because I know how Venom 1 was, and I guess like the plot of Venom 2 makes sense.
Venom 2 was more enjoyable than this garbage can.
Oh my god, I know. But like Venom 2, the only issue with Venom 2 was Carnage having love interest. That was it. That was the only issue. The rest of the movie was fine. Yeah. That was the only issue I had with it. This one, there's multiple issues. No, there's lots of problems.
There's not one act of this film that doesn't have a glaring issue.
Yeah.
And that in itself is disgusting.
Well, even then, like, the only good part about the film is the first 20 minutes.
I'm not even a Morbius fan, man. That's the shittiest part about all this. Like, I didn't go in with high expectations, like, thinking like, oh, dude, I love the Morbius comics. You know, this is going to be great. I went in like, let's see what the Spider-Man villain can do on screen.
I feel like the reason why you probably walked out as disappointed as you were, it's because, like I said, the first 20 minutes of the film was fucking great. It was really good.
It was like the first Halo episode. First 20 minutes, pretty good. Then it gets into the rest of the movie, and you're like, oh no.
Yeah. Back up.
Oh no.
Back up.
Help me.
But yeah, like the first 20 minutes of the movie, it was like, wow, this is a solid movie. It has pretty good plot. This man's fighting with a demon inside him. Wait, now this man is fighting with the demon inside of everybody.
Now he's fighting with the cops. Then he's going to be fighting with Vulture. Then he's going to be fighting with his best friend. Then his girlfriend's going to turn on him. Then she's going to fight him. They're all going to have 300 style slow-mo action scenes. You could bet your ass for that.
Yeah.
I'm surprised they didn't.
Oh,
I am so surprised they didn't add that, because I thought that's what they were going to do. I thought after his friend, like he killed his friend, she was going to get up and just start going at it with him. Like, I thought, like, if you guys add another fucking, like, 20 minutes of me to sit through, I will hate you. I will give this a 1 star.
Oh,
I don't even care.
I know. Kevin was so ready to get out of that theater, he didn't want to stay and watch the end credit sequence for a minute
there.
like,
yeah, this movie's not worth it. There's like, I don't
In
wanna...
which, I'm kind of happy we stayed and watched the end credit sequence, because, you know, fucking Vulture makes an
came
appearance
out
for
of
no
nowhere?
reason. Yeah.
But it still makes no sense.
God damn it.
Yep, they fucked it up. They fucked it up hard.
And, like, so... I know one of, like, the biggest things that you're arguing about the whole thing is, like, stop trying to make villains good guys, yada yada. And in my head, like, he could still be a bad guy. Like, unlike Venom, there is no making Venom a bad guy now, because
He saved the world twice.
Yeah, he saved the world twice. Mobius, on the other hand, he didn't save the world. He just killed a problem he created, and he's still dealing with the vampire that's inside of him. So there's still potential of him becoming a bad guy, because before he was a vampire, he was doing really sketchy things under the radar anyway.
Yeah.
Borderline illegal experimentation.
Yeah, but, like, this movie was so bad, it almost was boring. And
Yeah.
I think that's the most disappointing part. It's like, it wasn't even bad like Carnage was, to where we could, like, make fun of it and, like, have fun joking.
Well, even
about
then,
it.
Carnage had a lot of, like, really good scenes. Like, Carnage at least made sense. Like,
Yeah.
you got what was going on the entire time with Carnage. Like, you understood the plot, where everybody was at, like, how truly, like, insanely powerful Carnage was compared to Venom.
Cletus Cassidy.
Like, all of it was so well done, and it's just the Cletus having a love interest is just what fucked the whole movie up, honestly.
Yeah.
And, like, the actress is a really good actress. Like, I'm not going to say that she was a shit actress or anything like that. She was just handed a shit role.
Compared to Morbius, dude, Carnage is like a 9 out of 10.
Oh my god, I know.
But Morbius,
I'd still give it a 5, though, because, like I said, I went in there kind of expecting the way it played out.
Sony
It's just the
keeps
writing is
dragging
bad.
their shit through the mud, dude.
Yeah,
and
they
it's
do.
not getting prettier.
It's not. After, like, Spider-Man No Way Home is basically the only reason why Sony is, like, trying to get away with all this shit. Because they keep connecting their movies to the Spider-Man universe, and it's like, oh my god,
They
stop.
just won't let it die, and now they don't know how to, like, really fucking just go off the radar, because they're like, now people are expecting this.
Yeah.
And, like, now, I'm guessing everybody's just at a point, like, please stop. Stop.
I think the only upside to this movie is because of the connection that they made, we possibly will see Spider-Man kick the shit out of Mobius. Like,
Doubt it.
maybe, who knows?
From Sony's point of view, they'll probably team up.
Oh.
Then you got a vampire and a spider working together.
What
Cats
if
and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
What if this is the build-up to the villains to the Amazing Spider-Man movie? Because there's talks about how they offered Andrew a third movie or whatever.
I'll shoot myself.
Yeah, what if this is a build-up to that? Like,
they are
that's
not
just supposed to
doing
be.
a good job
They
at
are
all,
not, no.
and they are making it an Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Amazing Spider-Man 2.
It's gonna bomb. If this is the build-up to something bigger, like a Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man thing, you're fucking it up.
Yeah.
Stop.
Yep.
Stop while you're ahead. And just let The Amazing Spider-Man come out. And if it's as bad as these films are, I think you're fucked as a movie-making company with any superhero license. If you don't step your shit up.
Oh my god.
This is getting ridiculous.
It is.
It's not even entertaining anymore.
No, it's not.
It's just getting painful. Because I keep seeing these cool villains and I'm like, oh, yeah. That's dope. Nah. It's not at all.
Nah.
It's way worse than you'd ever imagine.
Nah.
Hopefully the next episode won't be as bad. On the next episode of the Pipeline Podcast. Thank you everybody for listening. Good night.
Suck my cock.